Okay, so now we're moving on to using relative pronouns as objects in our adjective clause. So same thing here, we have to combine the two sentences to make a new complex sentence containing an adjective clause in the object pattern. So what are our objective relative pronouns? For people, we have to use whom with M, not who. And for things and animals, we can still use which or that. Okay, so now when we are combining the two sentences, we still have to make sure we place the new adjective clause as close to its antecedent as possible to avoid misplaced modifiers. And we have to add inserter commas to non-essential or non-restrictive adjective clauses. So let's take a look at the first sentence. Albert Einstein was a high school dropout. The world recognizes him. Who's the him? Well, the him is referring to Albert Einstein. So the world recognizes him as a genius. Now, he is a person, so I'm going to change the him to my relative pronoun whom. The world recognizes whom as a genius. But the rule about adjective clause is that we have to move our relative pronoun to the beginning of the adjective clause. So now I have to move the whom to before the world. Whom the world recognizes as a genius. And since I am modifying Albert Einstein, I need to make sure I put it after his name. So I'm going to type A-E because it's too long. Albert Einstein, and this is a proper noun. Everybody knows who he is. So this is non-restrictive. Whom the world recognizes as a genius, comma, was a high school dropout. And voila, that is our sentence with non-essential adjective clause. Okay, so let's do one more. As a young boy, Einstein had trouble in elementary and high school. He attended the school. So you can see in the second sentence, what is the object? He is the subject, attended is the object. These schools, attended is the verb. These schools is the object. And this is referring to the elementary and high school in the first sentence. So we know that this is referring to things. And that's why we have to use either which or that. So now I am simply going to type it out. I'm running out of space. I'm going to type it out at the right-hand side. As a young boy, Einstein had trouble in elementary and high school. And then which or that he attended in Germany. So, Sandy, do you think we should use restrictive or non-restrictive in this case?
I think we should use which.
Why? I'm not saying you're wrong.
We should use which because which is a non-restrictive. So without the elementary and high school, you won't know, without the adjective clause, you won't know, the sentence isn't clear.
If the sentence isn't clear, doesn't that mean you need restrictive adjective clause that he attended in Germany? Because if you said using non-restrictive would make the elementary school and high school unclear, then that means you do have to make it clear, in which case you need to use essential or restrictive adjective clause, right? But to be honest, in this case, I would probably accept both, because I think the sentence is just saying he was struggling in elementary and high school. Whether he attended those schools in Germany or not seems irrelevant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so it can be non-restrictive in this sense, because he is just having trouble in elementary and high school. So whatever it comes after can be non-essential. Okay, so let's do one more. He did poorly in certain subjects, such as history and languages. He disliked them. So we know that them is referring to history and languages, right? Specific subjects already. So we need to use which or that. Which or that he disliked. So if we type out the sentence, he did poorly in certain subjects, such as history and languages. In this case, even without the adjective clause, I know what subjects you're talking about. So I'm going to use which he disliked. Right? Okay. But there are actually two ways of reconstructing the sentence. I can actually use it to modify in certain subjects as well. I can say he did poorly in certain subjects that he disliked, such as history and languages. And that would be okay too. Okay, so sometimes there could be more than one possible answer depending on the context. But the important thing for you to know is that when the relative pronoun is objective, you have to move it to the beginning of the adjective clause and then place it as close to the noun it modifies as possible. All right, so let's do questions 4 to 6.